Listen closely. For the moment a child enters this world, a hidden energy awakens, a force that does not just belong to the child, but ripples through the life of the parent as well. Every birth carries a subtle signature, a code written by time, the stars, and the unseen currents of destiny. Some months hold quiet strength, others spark challenges that test the very limits of patience and perception. These are not mere coincidences. They are messages, whispered lessons from the universe, waiting for those who are willing to notice. In this journey, the month of birth is more than a date. It is a mirror reflecting karmic patterns, choices of the past, and opportunities for growth yet unseen. A child born under one season may reveal hidden tendencies within you, calling you to awaken parts of your soul that have long slumbered. The energies present at birth shape relationships, temperaments, and even the trajectory of life itself, nudging you toward awareness or demanding the discipline of reflection. By observing these patterns, by pausing and truly seeing the subtle signals, we uncover the tools to guide our own personal evolution. Mindfulness transforms these moments from mere observation into a practice of transformation, where every interaction becomes a doorway to deeper understanding and self-mastery. In today's video, you will uncover these hidden connections, learning how your child's birth month can illuminate paths in your own destiny and reveal lessons that are rarely spoken of. You will discover energies that influence your life and the ways you can align with them to cultivate harmony, strength, and insight. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. I am Shi Heng Yi, and I invite you to subscribe now, for the knowledge you gain today can awaken the fire within and guide both your path and your child's. Stay with me until the end, and you will see the unseen threads that shape destiny itself. There is a quiet wisdom in the turning of the seasons, a rhythm older than any written word, older than memory itself. Each month, each season carries a pulse that touches every living being, shaping character, energy, and destiny. When a child is born in spring, their spirit resonates with beginnings, growth, curiosity, and the subtle courage to reach toward the light. Summer births carry a different force, a quiet intensity, strength tempered by warmth, the resilience to endure and shine under the pressure of the sun. Autumn brings a reflective energy, a time for contemplation, for harvesting lessons learned, for understanding the cycles that govern life. And winter, with its stillness, brings the power of rest, patience, and introspection, where strength is nurtured in silence and the seed of mastery lies beneath frozen ground. In Shaolin practice, we honor these rhythms not as mere tradition, but as a guide to mastery. To move against the natural flow is to invite struggle. To align with it is to move with clarity and purpose. The energy present in a child's birth month is a mirror of these cycles, revealing tendencies, potential challenges, and hidden strengths. It is a rhythm we feel, even if unseen, shaping the way a child approaches the world and how a parent learns to guide them. Observing these patterns teaches a subtle art, the art of timing, of understanding when to act and when to remain still. Spring teaches patience with new beginnings. Summer, the discipline to channel power without haste. Autumn, the wisdom to reflect. Winter, the courage to endure in silence. In this way, life becomes a practice, a meditation on energy and balance. The child's presence awakens these lessons within the parent, and together they move through the cycles of nature, learning to flow with the eternal rhythm that has guided monks, sages, and warriors across centuries. Some children arrive with a quiet fire that tests the heart in ways no lesson could prepare. Their presence stirs the mind, challenges assumptions, and demands attention beyond the ordinary. A child born under certain months may carry a restlessness, a sharpness, or an intensity that pulls the parent into moments of tension. These are not burdens, but invitations, gentle calls from life to cultivate patience, to steady the mind, and to temper reaction with awareness. In the halls of Shaolin, this principle is known well. Adversity is never punishment. It is a teacher, often disguised as difficulty, revealing where the mind is unsettled, where habits remain unexamined. The restless child, the one whose energy seems uncontainable, is a mirror to the parent's inner discipline. Each moment of irritation or frustration becomes a doorway, an opportunity to pause, breathe, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. Discipline begins quietly, in the mind before it is seen in action. Every gentle correction, every mindful response is a small act of mastery. Over time, patience becomes not a struggle, but a natural rhythm, a cultivated strength that ripples into every corner of life. The challenges of early parenting, when approached with awareness, transform into profound lessons in self-mastery. The child's temperament is not a test of power, but of presence. In learning to move through tension without losing calm, the parent learns the first principles of control over the self, awareness of thought, regulation of emotion, and consistency of action. These lessons mirror the training of monks in ancient temples: repetition, patience, and mindful attention, forging resilience and strength. Through the gentle trials of early days, the parent discovers a deeper capacity within, realizing that mastery begins not with the world, but within the stillness of the mind. There is a quiet awakening that comes when responsibility falls fully into one's hands. A life entrusted to your care, fragile yet full of potential. A child's presence, especially one born under certain months, can reveal the hidden corners of the heart, where patience falters, where irritation lingers, where understanding flows effortlessly. These are the subtle markers of compassion yet fully realized. The act of caring becomes more than routine. It is a mirror reflecting the depths of one's own capacity to love, to nurture, and to remain present. In Buddhist thought, compassion is not merely an emotion, it is a practice, a path toward awakening. Caring for another being, observing their needs, and responding with awareness becomes a direct lesson in mindfulness. Each feeding, each gentle word, each moment of guidance is an opportunity to cultivate empathy and presence. A child's natural temperament can highlight both strength and weakness in this practice, revealing where the heart is disciplined and where it still seeks growth. Through responsibility, the mind is trained. The impulses to react with impatience or judgment are noticed, held, and transformed. True compassion arises not from instinct alone, but from the deliberate choice to act with clarity, understanding, and balance. Like the monks in ancient temples who bow and sweep with full awareness, the small acts of care in parenting become rituals of inner cultivation. Over time, this awareness extends beyond the child. It softens interactions with others, deepens the connection to life itself, and nurtures an inner mastery that is invisible but powerful. Responsibility, when embraced fully, becomes a doorway. It teaches that the path to awakening is not found in solitude alone, but in the deliberate, compassionate engagement with the lives entrusted to us. In this way, the child becomes both teacher and guide, awakening the heart, while revealing the quiet discipline required to live with true empathy. A child is a mirror, reflecting the unseen currents that flow through a home, the subtle waves of tension, joy, anxiety, and calm that often go unnoticed. Some birth months bring children whose sensitivity is heightened, who respond to the slightest shift in tone, expression, or energy. They reveal what is hidden, amplifying both harmony and discord. In their presence, the household becomes a living meditation, a space where every emotion is observed and every reaction carries weight. This reflection is not a burden but an invitation. It calls for awareness, a calm, steady attention to the movement of thoughts, feelings, and impulses. To notice irritation as it rises, to feel joy without clinging, to witness frustration without reaction, these are the practices of emotional mastery. The child becomes both teacher and mirror, guiding the parent to recognize patterns that were previously unnoticed. Ancient wisdom teaches that mastery of the self begins with observation. Just as monks sit in stillness to watch the breath, to notice the mind's subtle fluctuations, so too must the parent observe emotional currents without judgment. Awareness alone transforms energy. It allows the mind to respond with clarity rather than habit. to act with intention rather than impulse. Through consistent mindfulness, the parent learns to regulate their presence, to ground themselves amidst turbulence, and to create a space where the child feels safe yet challenged to grow. Emotions are no longer distractions. They become guides, signals to practice patience, compassion, and balance. In time, the household itself becomes a training ground, where the invisible forces of energy are understood, observed, and harmonized. The child's sensitivity, born of their month, serves as a subtle but powerful teacher, revealing that emotional mastery is not external. It is cultivated quietly, through presence, reflection, and disciplined awareness. Life often speaks in patterns, subtle repetitions that trace back through time, whispering lessons that the mind may not immediately grasp. A child's birth month can reveal these hidden echoes, carrying energies that reflect challenges or blessings connected to choices made long before their arrival. Some children arrive with an ease that feels like reward, while others bring circumstances that test patience, understanding, and resilience. These patterns are neither punishment nor favor. They are opportunities for growth, invitations to observe the currents of cause and effect that flow through life. In observing these rhythms, the parent begins to see the invisible threads connecting past actions to present experiences. A child's temperament, tendencies, or even the timing of their birth can reveal unresolved lessons, areas of life that require attention or strengths that can be further cultivated. The ancient path teaches that recognition is the first step toward mastery. By becoming aware of karmic patterns, one can respond rather than react, choose rather than drift, and shape each day with intention. Reflection becomes a discipline, noticing recurring struggles or blessings, considering how they mirror past choices, and observing one's own responses trains the mind in clarity and patience. Each moment becomes a lesson in cause and effect, each interaction an opportunity to act consciously rather than unconsciously. This awareness transforms daily life into a subtle practice of inner mastery. Challenges become teachers, blessings become guides, and every decision carries the weight of deliberate attention. The child's presence amplifies this lesson, revealing where wisdom is cultivated and where growth is required. In this quiet observation, the parent learns that destiny is not imposed but co-created. Through mindful reflection, the threads of the past become tools for conscious living, guiding both parent and child toward a path shaped by awareness, discipline, and thoughtful choice. True strength is rarely revealed in ease or comfort. It emerges quietly, forged in the subtle pressures of life, shaped by moments that test endurance, patience, and clarity. A child born under certain months can bring such moments into the home, situations that push a parent beyond habitual responses, challenges that demand unwavering attention, and circumstances that reveal the limits of inner patience. These are not obstacles to be resisted, but opportunities to cultivate resilience. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the body and mind are tempered not through fleeting comfort, but through consistent effort and disciplined practice. The same principle applies to the heart and spirit. Each difficult moment with a child, the sleepless nights, the repeated mistakes, the emotional storms becomes a training ground for perseverance. By responding with calm, by maintaining focus despite fatigue or frustration, the parent strengthens an inner fortitude that extends far beyond the immediate challenge. Resilience is learned in repetition. It grows when the mind refuses to yield to impulse, when patience is chosen over irritation, when clarity is sought in moments of chaos. Each small act of disciplined response is like a single movement in a Shaolin form, seemingly simple, yet layered with intention, energy, and subtle mastery. Over time, these moments accumulate, weaving a fabric of inner strength that is steady, grounded, and unshakable. Challenges, especially those mirrored in a child's temperament, reveal not weakness but potential. They invite the parent to move beyond reaction and into awareness, to transform difficulty into a teacher. In this way, resilience becomes a living practice, an invisible power cultivated not through ease but through the patient, persistent engagement with life's trials. The path of inner mastery unfolds quietly, revealed in the steady heart, the the disciplined mind and the enduring presence that meets each challenge with calm strength. There is a quiet intelligence that rests beneath the surface of the mind, a subtle knowing that often lies dormant until awakened by life itself. A child's presence, particularly one born under certain months, can stir this hidden faculty, drawing the parent's attention to whispers of insight previously unnoticed. Their needs, reactions, and rhythms act like a gentle compass, guiding awareness toward a deeper understanding of both the world and the self. In the practice of mindfulness, observing these subtle signals becomes a disciplined art. The flutter of a child's gaze, the shift in energy in a quiet room, or the unspoken cues in a moment of tension, all are invitations to listen more closely, to sense beyond the surface, and to act with discernment rather than habit. By attending to these details with calm presence, intuition begins to unfold, a natural clarity that informs decisions and nurtures harmony. Ancient traditions from Shaolin meditation to Buddhist mindfulness emphasize that wisdom is cultivated through attention and reflection, not merely acquired through knowledge. Just as a monk hones awareness through repeated practice, so too does a parent sharpen insight through the attentive care of a child. Each interaction becomes a subtle exercise in discernment, training the mind to recognize patterns, sense timing, and respond with quiet precision. Over time, this nurtured intuition becomes a guiding force, steadying the mind amidst uncertainty and illuminating paths that logic alone may overlook. The child's birth energy acts as a key, unlocking latent wisdom that connects the parent to their inner guidance. In this way, parenting becomes more than care. It becomes a meditation in motion, a living practice where awareness, reflection, and attentiveness cultivate a refined insight. Through this gentle awakening, the parent learns to trust the quiet voice within, discovering that true wisdom is both lived and sensed, flowing through presence, patience, and mindful observation. Life unfolds in subtle rhythms, and within a child's presence lies a quiet energy that can guide a parent toward deeper alignment with their own path. Each child carries a unique temperament, shaped by the season of their birth, the energies that flow through them, and the karmic currents surrounding their arrival. Observing these tendencies with care and mindfulness reveals patterns that invite harmony rather than resistance, teaching the parent to move in rhythm with the natural flow of life. Alignment is not about control, it is about attunement. By noticing the child's inclinations, their strengths, and the areas where they require support, a parent can adjust their own pace, priorities, and responses. This conscious attunement becomes a form of inner practice, refining patience, presence, and clarity. Like a Shaolin master observing the movement of an opponent, one learns to respond with precision, balance, and intention rather than force. When personal growth harmonizes with the child's energy, daily life itself becomes a field for cultivation. Challenges become opportunities to strengthen virtue. Moments of joy become teachings in gratitude, and the flow of routine becomes a practice in awareness. Over time, the parent discovers a profound reciprocity. The child thrives within an environment of mindful care, and the parent evolves through deliberate engagement with life's subtle currents. This alignment fosters more than calm, it nurtures purpose. Actions are no longer scattered or reactive, but deliberate and directed, flowing from understanding rather than obligation. Spiritually, it opens a pathway for growth, teaching that mastery is not only cultivated through solitude or discipline, but through attentive connection. By moving with the child's natural rhythm, the parent learns to balance life's demands with quiet awareness, discovering that true harmony arises when the energies of all beings in one's care are honored and integrated into the unfolding journey of self-mastery. The mind is like still water, revealing clarity only when disturbances are observed and understood. Each day brings countless moments with a child, small gestures, fleeting expressions, subtle reactions that often pass unnoticed. Yet within these tiny interactions lie the seeds of insight, reflections of both the parent's inner state and the child's emerging nature. By taking time to pause, to meditate, or to journal on these moments, the parent cultivates a practice that transforms ordinary life into a path of mastery. Daily reflection becomes a mirror, showing where patience falters, where compassion flows freely, and where awareness is yet untrained. Writing down observations or sitting quietly in meditation is not merely recording events, it is an exercise in seeing oneself clearly, understanding habitual patterns, and noticing how energy and intention shape every response. Through this discipline, the parent learns that mastery begins not in grand gestures, but in the quiet consistency of attention applied to the small, ordinary acts of daily life. Ancient wisdom emphasizes repetition and mindful practice as the foundation of skill and insight. Monks sweep the temple floors, bow to the rising sun, and breathe with awareness, cultivating presence in every motion. Similarly, reflecting on the parent-child dynamic daily trains the mind to respond with clarity rather than impulse, to act with purpose rather than habit. Each moment of awareness strengthens the connection to self, revealing the subtle threads that weave destiny. Over time, this practice forms an invisible architecture of inner strength. Challenges become lessons, joys become teachings, and every interaction, no matter how small, is an opportunity to refine discipline, awareness, and compassion. By making reflection and daily practice a part of life, the parent discovers that mastery is not an abstract ideal. It is lived quietly, moment by moment, through attentive care, mindful observation, and the patient shaping of both self and the world around them. Every life begins not in isolation, but as a thread within a vast, intricate web of existence. A child's birth is more than a singular event. It is a point where energies converge, where past actions, unseen forces, and the intentions of countless lives meet and ripple outward. Observing the birth month and temperament of a child reveals hints of this interconnection, showing how individual paths are woven into the larger tapestry of life. Nothing exists in separation. Each choice, each interaction carries consequences that extend far beyond the visible moment. In Buddhist thought, recognizing this interconnectedness is the foundation of wisdom. To see clearly that our actions affect others, that every life touches countless unseen lives, is to cultivate humility and presence. A child's behavior, their joys and struggles, reflects not only their own energies, but also the subtle echoes of relationships, environments, and decisions that span time. By paying careful attention, the parent begins to sense the invisible currents that shape existence, learning to act with awareness rather than impulse. This understanding transforms the way one approaches daily life. Moments of frustration become lessons in patience, moments of joy become reminders of shared vitality, and every interaction becomes an opportunity to respond consciously. Like a river flowing through many landscapes, life's energies move continuously, connecting all beings. The parent who perceives this flow learns to honor it, fostering a sense of reverence for both the child and the larger world in which they live. Through mindful observation and reflective practice, one begins to see that true mastery is not control over others, but harmony with the greater rhythm. The child becomes a guide, revealing the threads that link self to the wider whole. In embracing interconnectedness, life itself becomes a meditation, a continuous practice of humility, presence, and conscious living, where every action contributes to the unfolding pattern of destiny. Destiny is not a fixed line etched in stone, it is a river shaped by both the currents of circumstance and the steady hand of mindful action. A child's birth month may reveal tendencies, subtle energies, and patterns that hint at challenges or strengths, but these are not certainties. They are invitations, signposts along a path that must be navigated with awareness and care. What unfolds is not predetermined. It is co-created through deliberate choice and consistent practice. In Shaolin tradition, mastery is born from discipline and presence. A monk does not wait for enlightenment to arrive. He cultivates it through repeated forms, focused breath, and attentive awareness. Buddhist teachings echo the same principle. Awareness alone is not enough, and action without mindfulness leads only to distraction. It is in the union of seeing clearly and acting deliberately that destiny begins to take shape. For a parent, this principle becomes tangible. Observing the energies revealed by a child's birth month allows insight into tendencies and challenges. Yet awareness must be paired with disciplined response, patience cultivated, compassion exercised, reflection practiced, so that each interaction becomes an opportunity to guide both the child and oneself along a harmonious path. Every small choice, every mindful act accumulates, shaping the patterns of life and the unfolding of destiny. The essence is simple but profound. Tendencies may point the way, but conscious practice determines the destination. Mastery is not surrender to circumstance, but engagement with it, tempered by clarity, discipline, and presence. In this co-creative process, life becomes a deliberate meditation, a flowing form in which both parent and child move in harmony with deeper truths. By embracing this principle, one discovers that destiny is not merely observed, it is lived, shaped, and refined through awareness, steady action, and the continuous cultivation of the self. Each child's birth month carries a subtle resonance, like a quiet bell echoing through the corridors of life. It reflects hidden aspects of character, patterns of thought, and areas where growth has been long awaited. In their presence, the parent is invited to witness not only the child's emerging nature, but also the unseen layers of their own life, the strengths yet fully realized, the habits quietly repeating, and the karmic lessons woven into the fabric of daily existence. Mindful observation becomes a tool of transformation. By noticing reactions, patterns, and moments of tension or joy, the parent begins to perceive the subtle dynamics that shape both self and child. Each small challenge, a cry in the night, a repeated question, a burst of energy, is not merely a test of patience, but an opportunity to practice clarity, presence, and intentional action. Through this attentive awareness, obstacles are transmuted into lessons, moments of frustration into gateways for self-mastery. Intentional practice deepens this process. Meditation, reflection, or simply pausing before responding cultivates a steady mind, capable of embracing both difficulty and delight. Compassion becomes the guiding principle, anchoring every action in understanding rather than impulse. The child's energy acts as a mirror, revealing areas where discipline is needed, where patience can be strengthened, and where the heart can expand through consistent care. Through awareness, discipline, and compassionate engagement, destiny unfolds not as a predetermined path, but as a co-created journey. Each choice, each mindful act shapes the patterns of life, influencing not only the parent's growth, but also the unfolding of the child's potential. In this way, the ordinary moments of daily life become sacred, the parent-child relationship a living practice, and every day an opportunity to refine mastery over self, nurture understanding, and participate consciously in the weaving of destiny.